Okay, I had to give you guys a little bit of color other than just yellow. Hey, you guys, it's me, Claire, with My Talk TV again. And as I told you after my Bad Girls Club review that I just did, that I was going to come back and do a Basketball Wives review. And that is what I'm doing. This is Basketball Wives LA. See, this is the first season, episode 5. And I'm going to do a review on the episode. What's really, really cool about VH1.com is I can go on VH1.com and go to um, the best moments of, episode 5. And it gives me kind of just like a lineup of this, just the kind of important moments of episode 5. And so I can just kind of look at them and just kind of give my spiel about how I feel about it without having to watch the whole episode over or just click through the episode to figure out what happened. So anyway, let's jump right into it. It starts off with a brunch. I'm not completely sure what that brunch was. I'm thinking maybe it has something to do with when they all met together. I don't really know what the brunch was, but anyway, they met together at like a club. They were all dressed up and everything and dancing and everything. And Laura had mentioned, where is Drea? Drea didn't show up to, whatever they were doing. I don't know if it was a club or if it was. It says brunch here, which I don't understand why, because they didn't go to brunch. But yeah, so Dre didn't show up to whatever party that they were doing. And to me, it was just kind of like I felt like if I was Drea, I wouldn't show up to anything they invited me to either. They're very disrespectful, especially Imani toward Drea. Jackie is as well, even though she tries to act as if she was trying to give Drea a chance when really she wasn't. I just kind of felt like, I understand why Drea didn't go. So yeah, they talked about Drea, obviously, they love Drea, even though they want to act like they hate her. They spent time talking about her, so obviously she's on their mind. But they talked about Drea, and then finally they moved on and they had a good night. They danced. And so Amani, she got kind of irritated and started crying because she was watching Jackie and Jackie's husband kissing, and she just thought about the fact that she doesn't have anyone in her life. So, she started crying and everything like that. And I just kind of feel like, Imani, you're so judgmental, you know what I mean? Especially when it came to Drea. And I just kind of feel like this just really, really explains why you're so judgmental and why you're just so hateful toward other people. You wrote in a couple episodes ago, and put in Drea's box that she was worthless. So basically, you told Drea she was worthless a couple of episodes ago, and to me, it was just kind of that was too much. Like, why would you even do that? I don't care if the girl was a stripper. You have no business telling her that she's worthless. So it just really explains a lot for you to just kind of break down out of the blue like that and start crying. It just shows a lot about who you are and where you are in your life. And it kind of explains to me why you went so hard on Dre. Like, you even went as far as researching her past and presenting that to her and telling her to explain herself to you, which I thought was pretty absurd. But, I just kind of feel like you are really, really at an emotional breaking point, I guess, in your life, and you're really just dealing with a lot of stuff. And it just shows me that all that stuff you're dealing with is just kind of warping your image of other people, and making you think it's okay to treat other people bad because you're going through some stuff right now. So that's that on that brunch or whatever. It's just kind of showed me who Imani is, what's going on in her life, and why she's so disrespectful to other people. Is because she's miserable in her own life. Okay, so moving right along, we have missed you at the wedding. So basically, this scene or whatever is where they had the wedding and everything, and Drea didn't show up to the wedding, so Malaysia and Drea got together and they talked, and Malaysia's like, "Hey, we missed you at the wedding. What's the business? Where were you?" And Drea's like, "Well, I didn't feel welcome, so I didn't come to the wedding. Even, and it wasn't just you, Malaysia. It wasn't just the way that you presented it to me. It wasn't just the fact that you told me that Jackie asked you guys whether or not she should invite me, but it was because also Jackie called me and asked me to dance at her wedding. It wasn't like a formal invitation. It was more like, can you dance at my wedding, which is pretty ridiculous to me. You know what I mean? And so, um, which I to this day don't understand why Jackie would call Drea and ask her to dance at her wedding. I'm kind of like, where does that come from? I'm so confused with that. I don't get that. And Malaysia was confused. She was like, I'm confused. Like, I think everyone's confused. Like, Jackie, you're confusing. Um, needless to say, I'm not really feeling Jackie. I just kind of feel like she's really aggressive toward Drea, and that might have something to do with the fact that she doesn't really trust her husband that much. I think her husband's cheated on her numerous times, and for her to be so concerned with Drea being around her husband tells me how she feels about her husband. Because if he's your husband and he loves you, like you can really bring anyone around him, and it's not going to sway him either way. Like if he's not a cheater, he's not a cheater, you know what I mean? But if he is a cheater, then that's where, the insecurity comes from you. Like you have to realize that's your man and you don't want him to cheat, but he's gonna do that regardless whether it's with Drea or not. And I just don't really think that it's fair for you to take out your anger on Drea. I do understand you not really wanting Drea to be around, but if that's the case, be real about it. In my opinion, you don't invite her somewhere and really not want her to be there. I think you were just kind of inviting her to try to look like you were being fair or whatever, when you didn't really want her there. So yeah, in my opinion, it was just stupid for Jackie to invite Drea, because obviously she really isn't feeling Drea, and I can tell she's not really feeling Drea because she's never really shown Drea any genuine respect. Like she doesn't talk to Drea the way she talks to Imani or anything. And even in the last episode when they had the bachelorette party, Drea bought Jackie a gift and everything, and it was a gift from the sex shop, just like everybody else had gifts from the sex shop. And Jackie was just really like dismissive toward Drea, and I just kind of thought that was ridiculous. Like, why are you really dismissive toward Drea? She bought you a gift. Like, she didn't have to buy you anything. Like, you're just being a jerk toward her. Thank you, Drea. Like, that's how she acted toward her, and I was just kind of like, you know what? That's just you're just ungrateful, and you're just taking out your anger on Drea, and you being an older woman, like you know what it's like to be young, and you should just have more respect for people in general. If you have respect for your own struggle, like you should really have enough respect for yourself to respect other people. I just kind of didn't like that or whatever. So anyway, Drea, back to what happened. Drea met up with Malaysia and talked to Malaysia about her not coming to the wedding, and said it was because of how Jackie approached her, and how she invited her. It really wasn't formal. And so later on, we see Gloria meet up with Jackie, and they talk about Drea not coming to the wedding and about Malaysia talking to Drea, and Drea and Malaysia not saying anything about the fact that she talked to Drea. And my thing is, you know what? I feel like it's a dead issue for me. It's just kind of like Jackie, Gloria, Imani, Laura, like all you guys. Why are you so concerned with the fact that Drea didn't show up? I mean, you guys were like barely even letting her come to the wedding, and now that she didn't come, you're upset. Like you really didn't want her to be there that bad, and you don't really even know her, and you guys don't even really like her. So it should be a good thing that you guys didn't want her to come, that she didn't come to your wedding. So being that you guys that it's not a good thing, it's just showing me that there's only two reasons as to why you guys are tripping out about the fact that she didn't come to your wedding. And the two reasons are either A, you're doing it because you just want to start drama, you just want to keep drama going with Drea, or B, you just really do like Drea, you like her being around, you like the sight of her, you like her just being in your presence, and you kind of really was hurt that she didn't come to your wedding. So one of those two things, but either way, you need to admit it. Like admit if you really do like her, like act like you like her, treat her with respect. If you really don't like her and you didn't want her to be there, and now you're just being full of drama, like you need to recognize that in yourself too, because that's an ugly trait. to have. So anyway, moving right on along, that was a lot. I talked about that and I spent a lot of time on that. So let's move through the rest of this really quickly. Um, Laura went to go see a psychiatrist or a psychologist or whatever because she's nuts, which I think is good because Laura, you are nuts, especially how you fought your sister and Draya in the ring later on when you guys did the MMA stuff. I just thought that was really, really aggressive on your part. And yeah, you definitely need to see a psychologist. Train Imani was just going through a lot of crap. She had lunch with Malaysia and Laura talking about how she just feels like she gave all her love to the wrong person. She might not be able to love again, which I'm just kind of like, you know, Imani, get over it. You had a bad relationship. We all had bad relationships. Like, get over it, move on. Like, whatever. You stayed with him for a really long time, so what, you know, like you have to move on and you have to believe in yourself. Like it's just kind of as simple as that, you know. It's just as simple as that. And just as just mental as Amani is, I don't really have much patience for her, so that's just kind of why I'm just like whatever toward her. Like, get over it, because she's just very judgmental and I don't really feel like spending more time on talking about her. Okay, so you know, Jackie meets up with Drea and they talk about the fact that she didn't go, and I just feel like Jackie was just really aggressive when she talked to her. Don't let nobody else tell you about me. Dial my number. And it's just kind of like, you know, Jackie, it's not as if you guys were on like really cool terms. Like, you were really shady toward her when she bought you gifts. You like really treated her with shade. Like, you weren't really sweet toward her. So I mean, I can understand her not really being comfortable even talking to you in the first place. So, you know, her not coming to your wedding was just an indication that she really wasn't comfortable with you. And so for you to be as aggressive as you were toward her, I just thought that was ridiculous. I just think that Jackie is just really dealing with some insecurity issues that she has about her husband cheating. She's afraid that if her husband meets Drea, that he'll want to cheat with Drea. And she just kind of being angry toward Drea, even though Drea's never done anything with her husband. Silly. Okay, so I'm gonna try to hurry up and finish this up. Okay, so Malaysia's doing this baby jewelry thing. The guy in the jewelry store said that he wants to keep all the baby jewelry between $700 and $3,000, which to me is that's a lot of money. I'm just kind of like, you know, kids are just very playful and they're all over the place. Like, they can easily lose some jewelry, and even though you guys think 700 is not that expensive for like higher end people or, you know, upper class people or people who have a lot of money to spend, even though that doesn't seem like a lot to you, it's still a lot of money to put on a kid for absolutely no reason and for them to lose. You know, it's just so easy for a kid to lose something like that. Even if it's like a ring, they take the ring off to wash their hands, they're just so forgetful sometimes. They go play and like the ring is there, and like, you know what I mean, it's too much money to be played with. So I just kind of feel like it's just a silly thing to want to do. It's just kind of wasteful, but that's my opinion. Malaysia, I like Malaysia, so if that's what she wants to do, then like also I support her decision. Like, girl, do you just do you? Hopefully that works out for you. Hopefully it, you know, you get good money off that, and you know, good profits and all that good stuff. But I just think that it's just kind of unnecessary, kind of wasteful, and not many people are really going to want to buy that. Yeah, so that's just kind of how I feel about it or whatever. Okay. um so moving right on along, at the very end we get the martial arts. They did the MMA. You know, they fought in the ring, and Gloria and her sister Laura were really going at it, which I thought was really, really intense. I'm kind of like, you guys are really, really intense, but they said they were competitive. So hey, if you're competitive and that's what you guys like to do, and it's just kind of how you guys bond, and okay, whatever, that's fine. I just kind of thought it was kind of aggressive on Laura's part. Like, Laura, you're like a bulldozer. Like, you don't care what's in your way. It could be your sister, it could be your mom. Like, you're gonna go in, and just kind of think that it's good that she's seen the psychologist or whatever. She goes in on Drea, like really beats her up, and I just kind of thought that that was just a bit much. I think that's where the episode ended, if I'm not mistaken. It's gonna pick up next time from there, so I'm not completely sure, but I think that's what's gonna happen. I was just not impressed at all by the way that Laura acted. Laura said, "Oh well, Dre was talking about me and my kids," but I just kind of feel like if you're really concerned about her talking about you and your kids, you would have approached her as a woman and talked to her and say, "Hey, you know, I heard you talking about my kids. Can you clear this up for me? What's going on here?" And then handle it from there, as opposed to just getting in the ring and just tearing her from limb to limb. That's disgusting and classless, and I just didn't like that at all. But you know, whatever. These girls are not really all that full of class. Anyway, so yeah, those are my reviews. Hopefully you guys liked it. See you later.